Dallas, Texas, home to the sorriest sports teams in America, Edgar's, shout out to all my Mexicans, and most importantly, me. Sort of. You see, whenever I talk to someone who's not from around here, I always claim Dallas because it's easier to explain, but really, I'm from a suburb called Plano. In fact, most people I know are like me and they grew up in a suburb around the area. And I just gotta say, the Dallas suburbs have gotta be the goofiest cities in America. Even if you're not from around here, you can probably relate because every major city has some goofy suburbs on the outskirts. I mean, let's just go down the list. First off, Frisco, Texas. Bro, Frisco, Texas has the most brown people I've ever seen. There's straight up a neighborhood in Frisco called Richwoods, which is just 90% rich Indian people. Like, I went to a house party in Richwoods when I was in high school, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. They had a security guard in the front. The smallest houses there are like 5 bedrooms, 5 baths. And I mean, it's a maze. You drive through there at night, you're gonna get lost. The thing about Frisco though is that every time I met someone from there growing up, they all deadass look the same. Every Frisco brown guy, moppy hair, chain, black shirt, always acts nonchalant, is hella into basketball. Like, I don't know if this is a thing with other cultures, but like, Indian aunties be gossiping so much, bro. Like, I have friends that know stuff about their friends that they really don't have any business knowing, but they only know that because their moms be telling each other everything about their kids just for clout at the auntie get together, you know? Another like really interesting thing I noticed about Frisco, Texas as I got older is just like how many degenerates are there. Like, growing up, I would see people from Frisco and like in the circles that my family ran in, like there's hella brown people. I would always think like Indian people, you know, they value, you know, hard work, you know, staying out of trouble, not doing anything stupid, you know, focusing on studies, you know, focusing on family values and stuff like that. But like, as I got into high school and I talked to people from Frisco, there's more degenerates there than like where I grew up. Like, bro, I know people in Frisco from rich families that were like getting arrested and doing hard drugs. And it's like, bro, you got a trust fund. You got no business being in the streets. I'm straight up at a point where I think that like roles need to be filled in a school no matter where you are. Like, whether you're in Compton, California, or Beverly Hills, or Frisco, Texas, there's always gonna be at least one dude who's doing hella drugs, being a straight up fiend in high school for no reason. There's gonna be one dude catching cases left and right, like, yo, stay away from that dude. There's gonna be at least one bop who's done like half the school. Bro, dude, oh my god, that reminds me, bro. At the beginning of this year, I was talking to this girl and she was telling me that growing up in middle school, her best friend in 7th grade got pregnant. And she was like, yeah, she had like a Hello Kitty like princess YouTube channel where she'd play with toys, and then she got pregnant at the same time, and they didn't know who the father was because it was one of 2 best friends. I was thinking of what I was doing in 7th grade, like playing My Park on 2K. Like, that wasn't even like in the question for me. So like, learning about that, I was like, bro, what's going on in Frisco? The funniest thing about growing up in like a super diverse place like Frisco, or like even where I grew up in Plano, is that in every group of brown friends, there's gonna be at least one white person, and they're gonna go into the friend group knowing nothing about the culture, but a few months in, they're gonna be like showing up to Garba in like a full kurta and everything, and it's hilarious. They just fully assimilate to the culture. All right, the next goofy city in the Dallas area, Plano, Texas, where I'm from. I know everyone thinks this about the place they grew up, and like, I'm low-key the same. Like, I feel like Plano is like the most boring city in America. The only like 2 big events that happen all year is the balloon festival, where they just like fly balloons, and like the festival is nice, but like, I don't care about some like hot air balloons, like, I'm not gonna lie. And 4th of July, and I can't even cap, the 4th of July at Plano is actually pretty lit. Like, I try to pull up every year, especially because it's like right by my house. But like, other than that, it's like kinda dry. I think my biggest problem with Plano, and I think like anyone who's grown up in the Dallas area can attest to this, is that everything is so far, bro. Like, nothing is walkable distance. It's not until like I got to college and I started traveling to Austin to visit friends and stuff that I realized like how pedestrian accessible some cities are compared to others. Like, I straight up need to drive like 10 minutes to go to the grocery store. Like, it's OD, bro. And once you get older, it's fine because then at least you have a whip. But like, when you're a kid and you can't do anything within walkable distance, it's so annoying, like having to ask your parents for a ride everywhere. Like, I'm just trying to meet my friends at a park, and that's straight up like an 8-minute drive, and I have to ask my mom, like, please, can you drop me off at the park so I can play basketball? And then she needs to like pick me up in 2 hours, and I'm like, why do I need to do all this to just play with my friends, bro? Like, can't I just have a walkable park where I could play basketball? The thing is, like, Plano, Texas has been my entire life because I moved here when I was 1 year old. So like, it's all of my memories have been in Plano. But like, I spent the first 10 years of my life growing up in West Plano in an apartment complex, and then eventually we moved out east and got a house. And like, there is like a definitely like a cultural difference in the people in East versus West Plano. At least in my experience, West Plano is like more of an affluent area and people are super academically competitive. Like Plano East, where I went to high school, was still like a super competitive high school. Like there was like 1,400 people in my graduating class. So to try to get into like top 10 or top 6% for your GPA was like super hard. But like Plano West is like different. Like it's all like East Asian or Indian people out there and they all go so hard on the academics. Bro, this is like bringing back memories. Like there was like this pipeline of schools that was like the most academically competitive like schools in the entire district. First off, it was Rice Middle School, which was like mostly like Indian and Asian people, so it was like really weird that was called Rice Middle School. Then you move on to Jasper High School, which is for 9th and 10th grade. Everyone there is even more sweaty. Jasper High School leads into Plano West, which is like ridiculously sweaty. Like I can understand like focusing on academics and stuff, but like for some people in Plano West, the only thing in their life was school. I knew a guy like a couple years ago who was like not even in the top 10% at Plano West, and then he transferred his senior year to Plano Senior High, which is another high school in our school district, and he went from like out of the top 10% to like top 3%. I was at a party earlier this year and I was talking to a guy who graduated from Plano West, and he was like in his feels that he couldn't go to UT Austin because he wasn't in the top 6% because Plano West was so competitive. He was like, yeah, dude, I'm stuck here at UT Dallas, but I should be in Austin right now. But like, there's so many sweats at Plano West. Like, I was only top 8%. I should have been top 6%. And he was like sloshed in his feels. And I'm like, all right, bro, like you're kind of killing the vibe. Like none of that. I spent like most of my formative years from like the age of like 10 onwards in East Plano. And the vibe there is like hilarious. First off, when I moved to East Plano, the elementary school I moved to was called Hickey Elementary School. So yeah, first off, everyone would make fun of that. Then I went to Bowman Middle School. Bowman Middle School, I used to hate it when I was there, but in hindsight, I'm so glad I went because there were so many characters there. Bowman was like the most underfunded like ghetto middle school in like the entire school district, other than Armstrong Middle School, which like shut down recently apparently. But bro, Bowman, it was like a surreal experience. Like a lot of the stories I tell on this channel are stories from my time at Bowman. Like I told that story about that one guy who got into a fight in front of the entire grade at lunch. Then there was just so many weird teachers. Like I had this teacher 7th grade whose name sounded a lot like Longhorn, but she went to Texas A&M, right? And A&M and UT Austin hate each other. It's like some football thing. I don't really care. But she really hated UT Austin, right? So like if anyone called her Miss Longhorn, she would get so cheesed and immediately give them a detention. Then there was a teacher who straight up had the Dave Blunts build. And the craziest thing is the other day I was at the gym and I ran into a girl who went to my middle school and we were catching up. And she was telling me that her little brother goes to Bowman right now and the Dave Blunts teacher is still there, but she straight up has an oxygen tank at all times. Literally like Dave Blunts. Bro, something was in the water in East Plano because everyone seemed to have some like weird little quirk. Like one of my good friends from middle school, he was like the fastest person I ever met, right? And he was on the track team and he was like the fastest guy on the track team. And he would straight up be wearing Hanes socks that rolled down and like Nike SBs, like skateboarding shoes, and smoke everyone. And he had the funniest running form ever. Like he would run like this and like smoke everyone. And I was like so pissed that he was faster than me running like this, bro. So shout out to you, Taru, wherever you are. I don't know how you did it, but you would smoke everyone wearing Nike SBs, and I'm still pressed about that to this day. I'm joking, not really. Then we gotta talk about Plano East High School, which for the first 2 years I did IB, which like I don't even know how to explain IB to people who don't know what that is. It's supposed to look good on college apps and like, I don't know, you're supposed to be more culturally aware or something. I don't know. Point is, like, when you're in IB, you're in like separate classes from everyone else and they're supposed to be more advanced. But when I was there, 10th grade was the remote year, and after that like 3/4 of the entire IB class dropped out and just like went to regular classes. And I was one of them, I can't even lie. I'm fine with just taking APs. I don't need to do all that IB, like 4 years of Spanish. Like I barely survived 10th grade Spanish. I don't need to do that again. But like some of the IB kids kind of got a little weird after 10th grade. I think because the graduating class shrunk so much because so many people dropped out, the IB kids kind of like hung out amongst each other like 11th and 12th grade, which makes sense and there's no problem with that. But dude, I heard so many stories about like incest friend groups where like everyone just straight up started dating each other because their sample pool was so small. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's like 15 students in a class and like they're all friends, eventually you're just gonna make your way around the classroom until you've like dated literally everyone. But yeah, Plano, Texas, Truly one of the cities of all time. Now we gotta talk about Allen, Texas. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even know that many people from Allen. Even though it's right by Plano and so many people are from there, I haven't really interacted with many people from Allen. The last time I went to Allen was like 3 months ago. I went to a smoothie shop with my mom, and the only reason that trip was memorable was because as we were ordering, a car full of white girls pulls up in the drive-thru, and the driver looks directly at me and hits me with the flight reacts face, which was like the trippiest thing I've ever seen. Like the most basic looking white girl doing the flight reacts face. I don't know, luckily my mom didn't see that because I don't even know how I'm supposed to explain that to her, you know? The only thing I really know about Allen, Texas is that like the high school there is enormous. Like they straight up have a building, like an entire campus there that's just for freshmen. Allen High School has an enrollment of approximately 7,000 students from grade 9 to 12. What? Basically, Allen only has one high school for the entire school district, and it's my understanding that that's the case for football reasons. Allen has one of the best football teams in the entire country. Like, Kyler Murray went there, and they were like undefeated while he was there. They have multiple state championships, and their football stadium is insane. Like, if you go to high school in Texas, and your team plays Allen at the Allen Stadium, try to make your way out there. It's like a $50 million stadium for a high school football team. But I think Allen only has one high school, so they can have all of the best football talent from the city all go to that one high school, so they're even more of a powerhouse. Honestly, I don't even know what else to say about Allen. Like, my notes literally just say big school and stadium. If you're from Allen, Texas, or like you grew up there, let me know in the comments if like there's anything going on there. Like, what is Allen like to grow up in? All right, next up, we gotta talk about Richardson, Texas. And the only reason I even wanted to bring up Richardson is because I go to school there. UT Dallas is actually located in Richardson and not Dallas, but like Richardson, Texas, I don't even know what to say. Like, other than UT Dallas, like Richardson might be like even more boring than Plano. And even like UT Dallas, bro, like it's pushing my patience. I can't even lie. Like UT Dallas, I get it. It's fun to make fun of it. Like, oh, the MIT of the South or whatever. But truthfully, UT Dallas is like a good academic school. Like if you just want to go to a school strictly for academics, UT Dallas is actually like a really solid school. The problem is the social life there is like non-existent. Like if you want to see crazy stuff in the Dallas area, go hang out with the rich degenerates at SMU or go to Oak Cliff. In fact, anyone watching this video who wants to travel to Dallas, make sure you do a pit stop in Oak Cliff and get out and walk around and see the beautiful scenery at night. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram. Like that's where you can get immediate channel updates. Also, I read my DMs, so if you have any video ideas or you just want to give your thoughts on any videos, that's where you can reach out to me. Like I literally just made a video about submissions from my Instagram. So if you're following me, you could get featured in a video. So make sure you're following me and I'll catch you in the next one.